And a big amen indeed. That was Amen by Micah Tyler. Good morning and welcome to Rhema CC on this awesome Sunday morning, guys. I hope you are off to a fantastic Sunday. For those of you not familiar with me or what we do here on a Sunday morning, I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host. We tend to speak and explore, all sorts of sort of social issues, sort of biblical stuff. We sort of explore all sorts of things that are sort of relevant for today. And today we are talking about something that I think is probably, sadly, something we've all been exposed to from one time to the next, but we're going to get into that in just a few minutes. Before we do, guys, I want to say, hope you are well and truly rested mums and dads after a bit of a long holiday. I have actually really enjoyed having my kids at home, but I understand that it's not easy to say goodbye to them when they get back to school. So for those of you who are mums and dads who have had kids returning this last week to school, or perhaps you've got kids starting this coming week, well done on making it, firstly. And secondly, I hope you can just adjust to the school year okay. For those of you guys who are little people, when I say little, I'm little myself. So I don't actually mean in size. I mean, if you're a bit younger, if you're someone who's a younger person and you are on your way back to school this week, or perhaps, as I said a moment ago, you've already been back to school for a few days, well done to you guys too. You've made it into the next year or next stage. Perhaps you are starting school for the very first time. So if you are, how exciting, what an achievement. And I hope that you have a fantastic time at school and that you have great teachers, that you have great friends, and that you just have a really good time at school. Maybe you're a Year 7 kid and it's all new again in terms of the whole high school transition. Or maybe you're something in between. Either way, guys, I hope you enjoyed the start of your school year. Perhaps you're a homeschooler. Perhaps you're somebody who's at home with the fam and you're doing your educational stuff from home. If that is the case, I hope that the process is easy and that, just that you can get as much out of the situation as you possibly can, because it's a different setup, obviously, than school, system is how we do things in other aspects of society. So you guys are on a journey of your own in many, many respects, but I know that there's some freedom in that too. So I hope that regardless of what is in store, guys, whatever the learning experience looks like, I hope and pray you can experience just a real growth in your knowledge and your yearning to learn, because it is a special gift that we've been given by being in this nation. And, last week was Australia Day. So it is a good reason for us to reflect on the fact that education is encouraged in this nation. What a we are just so lucky. We're just so blessed. So anyway, guys, this morning though, we aren't talking about education. We are talking about something that is probably, as I said, quite relevant to, sadly, probably most of us. What is it? Church hurt. Now, I was going to talk about some pretty heavy stuff straight off the bat. I wanted to get straight in there. There was this sort of part of me going, yep, let's just go there. And then there's another part of me going, whoa, hold up. This is not the stuff to just jump straight into. But I want to acknowledge it. Church hurt. It is a big deal, and it is one of the reasons that we have so many barriers between church and society. And I think we need to start talking. We need to be willing to see things for what they are. We need to acknowledge our responsibility in that. And we also need to, if we are somebody who has experienced church hurt, address it. What is going on for us, and why do we feel this this need to hold on to what has held us captive for so long, in terms of us not moving past it? There might be stuff that we need to deal with within ourselves to be able to kind of push through. And so that is what we're exploring in many different ways this morning. But yes, stick with us. It's going to be an interesting few weeks. I think we'll spend some time over the next few weeks looking at what that can look like from person to person, and how we can overcome it or push through it, and how also we as a church can respond to that church hurt. What do we need to be doing better? How are we going to do it? And more than that, what's the hope that comes from it by us doing that? Anyway, I will just hit the pause button for a minute and we'll be back soon to talk some more stuff along the lines of church hurt. Okay, welcome back. It is Sunday morning here at Rhema Central Coast, which means it's Sunday morning for you guys too. It's not actually just here at Rhema Central Coast. But anyway, good morning and welcome to Rhema. As I said, I'm Lindy, I'm your Sunday morning host. And we are well and truly into the start of the day. We are talking things along the lines of some stuff that sadly most of us have probably carried in some sort of way over time, whether that's recent or long time, it doesn't matter. Sadly, I think most of us have been exposed to an element of church hurt. And when we say church hurt, that may be leaving you going, what is this thing? What are we talking about? Well, church hurt is that stuff that we carry and we don't even really recognize why we are carrying a lot of the time, but it can be caused by aspects of the church. There may be a history that we are holding on to that has been really, we might have been quite damaged through any sort of means. In fact, if you do just like a Google search or something, I will just explain to you, looking at the description of what church hurt can be. It could be an emotional thing, it could be spiritual, it could be psychological, and it tends to have been is likely to have been associated with church leaders or perhaps members, and it can often be inclusive of things like manipulation. Maybe there's an abuse of power. Certainly there's an element of broken trust. And now I'm pretty much reading word for word what I have found just by doing a Google search, but that's along the lines of what we're talking. It can come from things like abuse of power. We sadly have seen that historically, and I will go into that more and more as the weeks go on and we talk more and more about this whole thing called church hurt. Betrayal and misconduct is also highlighted in this Google search that I have kind of popped up this morning. Neglect and exclusion. It's one of those things that I think when you're trying to do community well, it can happen easily sometimes, sadly. But exclusion is a big part of that. Not being, involved in stuff or personally, encouraged. There can be aspects of legalism and shame. There can be just a general toxic environment. Again, I'm not coming up with this stuff myself. I'm just Googling it and going, what have I found? These are sort of things that can be experienced in terms of what causes or what the experience related to church hurt might look like. What's the stuff behind it? I would love to think that we could be a people who get it right all the time, but clearly we're not. We have plenty of people out there who want to see the church broken down, want to see the church never restored, want to keep us in a place where we are almost viewed as dangerous in some contexts. People paint that picture that, we can be very cult-like. I hope and pray we are not like that. I hope we are not exclusive. I hope and pray we are not, doing the things that we do because that's just how we do them here. I hope and pray that we are always, I'm talking the church. I'm talking not any specific church in our region or in our state or even across our nation. I'm talking the church. I'm hoping that we are always biblically founded, that we are prayerfully guided, that we are understanding who the bride that God wants us to be is at the forefront of how we explore how we're going to do things better. Church hurt, it's real. It is a real experience. Many people have experienced it from time to time. It emphasizes just how human we are, and it is not worth us pretending any longer. We've got to do things better. We've got to address things as they are. We've got to make a conscious decision to get things much better. I want to say right, but I know that we're human. It's never going to be completely perfect. And when you've got a mixture of humanistic values kind of merging amongst people who are just trying to do it right. There is always going to be flaws, unfortunately, and that's the reality of it. But how do we move past that? Big questions for us to answer and explore in the next few weeks. But I think starting today and going, what is this whole thing called church hurt, is a good starting point. And we are not going to push past it if we don't acknowledge it. So that's what we're doing. We're addressing it, and we're doing it together, and hopefully we can do things well. All right, see you guys when I come back. And good morning, Coasties. That was Way Out by Jet Trouble. Good morning indeed. I hope you're off to a fantastic Sunday. I'm Lindy, and I'm your Sunday morning host here at Rhema Central Coast. Welcome to Sunday. You made it, guys, through another week. Perhaps you've made it through lots of different weeks. Perhaps it's been a bit of a tough month. Well, guess what? You're into a new month. So guess what, indeed. Hey, hang on. Hold up 2 seconds, actually. Pinch and a punch for the first day of the month. There's the reminder for you guys if you need to jump on the fact that it is the first day of Feb for 2026. Can you believe it? February 2026. We are here, and it's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, it's my son's birthday tomorrow. That, again, is crazy. I'm going to have a 17-year-old. I don't know how that's happened, but anyway. Yeah, crazy stuff. Guys, we are talking church hurt this morning, and we are kind of just starting off by exploring what church hurt actually is. Let me just kind of regroup, go back over some stuff that I've covered already this morning, just because often on a Sunday morning, I don't know who's jumping in, who's jumping out, who's listening, who's not. And this is stuff that I don't want to just glance over and just go, oh, well, the first guy's got it. Whoever happened to be listening at the time, they got it, so let's just move on. I think this is really important for us to bring up again, because we need to ensure that there's no one left out in terms of understanding what church hurt actually is. Now, I said before, I've done just a little Google search. Generally, what has come up here is that church hurt can be related to the emotional, psychological, and even spiritual, especially, I should say, spiritual aspects of someone's, their wellness, their development. It can alter so much in terms of what happens from here because of something that has happened in terms of church, whether that happens to be something like abuse, and that's something we cannot deny. It's happened historically. It can be abuse of power. It can be a broken trust. It can be things like manipulation, the context of if you do this, then, that would really help us in this way. It's a tricky one because I understand that from a leadership perspective, you want to encourage people, but sometimes the lines get blurry and they get crossed. And it is tricky. It's really hard. Church hurt is often related to church leaders or other members. I don't know about you guys, but how many times have you walked into a church and thought, oh, didn't know you came here? Or, oh, this is a bit awkward. Or, oh, now that's the human response. And I would be so naive if I didn't say that is an issue that every one of us carry from time to time. I know that being married to a pastor, there have been times where things have been called out or he's had to jump on things from a different perspective because his job is to obviously, it is to protect the whole, if you're going scriptural, the whole flock, to make sure everyone's being looked after as best as they can. And sometimes that means calling out things that are not healthy. And certainly that can be understood to be it can be understood in a different way from those who he's had to call things out on. Now, this is the tricky line because we are told to respect our leaders, to get behind them, to support them. But we also have to be mindful that sometimes that line gets a bit blurry, and there can be people who take advantage of being in a sense of leadership. No denying about that because, again, it's a reality, and we're coming back from that as the church. But yeah, it is finding that balance with understanding of sometimes the leadership in our lives need to make calls that we don't even realise that need to be made. They will see things that we don't know anything about. I often think my job when I was working in a school back in Sydney, I worked I worked in admin, so I would see things that others wouldn't, and I would see that door of the headmaster's door be closed, and I would think, I have no idea what goes on behind those closed doors. I don't know what happens in terms of the decisions this person has to make. I don't know the calls that he has to take, and I don't envy one of them because I can understand that would not be easy. So my position here this morning is in respect of leaders of all sorts of, parts of society. I recognise it's hard, and I understand that people in a world of confusion can get things crossed over and mixed up. But church hurt is real. People do take advantage of situations of being in leadership, or perhaps they are a member who is, causes all sorts of issues. There might be some sort of aspect of personality differences or historical. They may have been exposed to things that make them a person that others are not likely to come out very healthy by being around, if that's a nice way to put it. We have to acknowledge that church hurt is real, that it does often cause psychological damage, emotional health can be, sent on this turbulent sort of ride, and from a spiritual perspective, which is the worst in my case, not in my case, from my perspective, I mean, it's heavy going. How do you come back from that? The church has a bigger journey. When these things occur, when people are hurt from a spiritual perspective, the church has got more things to repair. It's got more aspects, because this stuff has the opposite effect to what we talk about here on a Sunday, which is putting good into the world and hoping that will transpire a society. What we see when we see church hurt is that you see people who are church hurt or have been damaged by the church, and they put into society this stuff that has taken a toll on who they are. And it doesn't look good. And I don't mean we do things purely just because we need to make things look good, but I do mean we have to be cautious. We have to be mindful of what we are doing, not just because we are supposed to care about people, but also because we are trying to protect, who God wants the church to be. And it's a big responsibility, and we have to step up, and we have to go to the places where people have been hurt and hear them. But I'm going to get into that just a little bit more as we kind of progress this morning, because I want to put a bit of a pause button on where we are at. Sorry, I'm just rushing through this morning. And just come back to it and explore it a bit more in just a moment. So I'll see you guys soon. And welcome back, friends. Welcome back to another Sunday morning, if you are just joining us for the first time this morning. And for those of us who have been sticking around for a while, welcome back. I'm Lindy. I'm your Sunday morning host here, guys. And we are talking church hurt this morning. Big one. And we are just over the next few weeks, I hope to go a bit deeper, a bit more fully explored. But this morning, we're just exploring what church hurt actually is. What does it look like? And how do we navigate it? How do we do things right? Well, I don't know if we can answer all those questions this morning, but we are exploring, what that looks like, what it is. Certainly, we've just covered how it can be something that has come from other members in church or leadership. And it can be in regards to, acts of manipulation, mind control. There can be, certainly things of broken trust is a big part of it. It's not a good thing for a church to have to explore. But the reality is the church does, because we have a lot of people out there who are hurt by the church. What does it look like for somebody who has been exposed to or is living with church hurt? Now, you might see aspects of a distancing. There might be an aspect of people saying, I want nothing to do with that. I'm done. I'm over it. And this can certainly be a church-related thing. It can be something where they want nothing to do with the church. But more than that, it can be a distancing between that person and God. And that's sad. That's a really sad aspect of what other people have done to cause this rift between the person experiencing the isolation, the hurt, all of that sort of stuff, and their creator. The way we live, the way we respond to each other, the way we acknowledge each other and support each other it's got some big, weighty, it's got a weighty stance to it. We have to do things right and be respectful. You may see some people who have been church hurt living in almost like PTSD sort of, well, they could have, depending on the situations involved, but there could have been a PTSD sort of situation. Feelings of being angry, a sense of confusion of what's actually taken place here. What happened? How did this happen? Deep distress, sadness, and certainly, and we see it sadly, a sense of abandonment. There's a lot of people who are left in really difficult situations in life and no one's got their back. And I've seen it, and I've walked with people who have been in those situations, and it actually hurts me to think of those people as I'm talking, because it's just an awful experience to know that every person in their Christian world turned their back on them and left them isolated and abandoned. Now, certainly I know that spiritually God can intervene and God can assure those people who have been hurt that He is there, that He's always there. But we're supposed to do things better, guys. We are supposed to stop the judgment and actually be there. Whether that happens to be someone, a teenager who's found themselves in a pregnancy that they hadn't expected. Whether it happens to be someone who's come across accusations that have been fought legally, found to be nothing, but their life has been tormented by rumours, lies, deception. People have abandoned them, and the people that they wanted to have in their world have drifted from them, and those people are people who are supposed to love them deeply because they love God. These are a few examples that I can just think of at the top of my head. Situations where the people that loved them abandoned them. And oh my goodness, of course you're going to have church hurt from that. I'm sure that the lists go on from there. Different scenarios you can think of where it's a reality. People are left alone. Isolation is obviously one of those aspects that comes from situations like that. Now that's another aspect where it comes to the individual, how church hurt could look, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. The good news is that there is ways that we can move towards healing when we are experiencing church hurt. It starts with bravery, guys. It starts with a bravery and a determination to remember that God is not the people who have hurt you. God is not them. God is, He's not the people who cause harm. He is different, and He is available to you. If you are somebody who is listening this morning, and maybe you are somebody who is currently dealing with church hurt, please spend time with your Creator. Please spend time with your Creator. Pray and work through what you are, the way you are hurting, obviously, but the hurt itself. What has caused it? God has promised you He does not give you lies and deception. He will give you the truth. There may be things in your life that you need to address. I'm not going to dance around that. Maybe there are aspects of who you, who you are that God wants to work on. That's a very real thing. And I've certainly come across that myself, where God's gone, hold up, Lindy, you think you're ahead, but look, you've still got this stuff back here you need to work on. So sometimes the hurt that we are carrying, we don't even realize that we're a part of that. But sometimes we're not. Sometimes it does come from environments or exposure to people who are just toxic people. And God is there in those moments for us to be able to explore it with the ultimate sensitivity. He's a God of grace. He's a God of love. He's a God of kindness, and He knows the hurt that you carry. Please talk to Him. Please talk to Him first. We can go to this person and we can go and see this pastor and that professional, this psychologist, this counselor. We can get all the insight from people, but no wisdom that we can ever fully grasp as the best of wisdom will, God's wisdom is not theirs. He can certainly work through the people that we are in contact with, the people that we are exposed to, the people we reach out to. But stop, be still, and know that He is God. He is your first stop. Will you get answers in an instant? Maybe not. Will He speak to you in an instant? Maybe not. But go to Him first, guys. If you're experiencing church hurt and you want to get healing from it, go to Him first. Open your scriptures. Spend some time in reading his letters to us. The whole Bible is filled with people who've experienced hurt from others. You know, we look at Moses, we look at Joseph, we look at all these Bible lives that we have available to us as we look back. And they were hurt by other people, and yet God still had a purpose and a plan for them. Don't let your hurt hinder you. Reach out to him today. Reach out to him in the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months. Walk with him step by step by step. There is a path to healing, and it starts with him. Let me just hold it there. I'll be back soon. And welcome back, guys. That was Love Has a Name by Jesus Culture. Good morning and welcome to Rhema CC. On this interesting Sunday morning, we're talking some deep stuff. We're only just getting started, actually. I've just kicking off a bit of a series, if you like. Over the next few weeks, I want to talk church hurt. And I want to do that for several reasons, but today I'm kind of just addressing what church hurt is. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Lindy. I am your Sunday morning host here each week at Rhema Central Coast. And we talk all sorts of different things here on a Sunday morning, but this one just felt like it was one of those ones I needed to go there. And believe me, I have danced around this idea all week. In fact, I had a whole other show prepared right up to the last minute, and then I suddenly thought, no, I can't do that. I'm not there yet. So this morning is a little bit of a throw together, but I thought, no, we just need to start. We need to start with a little bit of delicacy and just ease into this. So bear with me over the next few weeks, because church hurt is a real thing, and it can have lifelong impacts. What is it? What's church hurt? Well, we've been exploring this morning. It's kind of the church. It's hurt related to the church. Leaders, other members, people that might be the reason for us not wanting to go into or be a part of a church. There may be an aspect of us that looks and says, God, I want nothing to do with you because those people did this to me. God is not those people who caused that harm. God is not those people who spoke harsh words or caused a really unsteady period of time in your life, whether that's emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. God is not them. They may be people who love God and may have made choices that they believed were right that caused you harm, but they are very different to God himself. In the last little segment, we were talking about how getting healing from church hurt actually, it starts with us spending time with God, putting him at the first, the total forefront of what we do next. Who do we go to? How do we make things happen? I think he's the first point. Instead of going to Chat GPT, which is what people do now, or they go to AI to ask, what do I do? Now, I'm guilty of this because a lot of this morning I have been going to just do a Google search. I don't want to rely on what I can find by simply putting a question into, my phone or my device or my computer or whatever it happens to be. But we do tend to rely on that as a society. Our first point of reference should not be that. It should be going to God himself. But I want to highlight some things that I did find that were beneficial to me, doing this morning. If you are somebody who is looking for healing, some of the other ideas that Google has highlighted, and I would 100% agree with, include firstly acknowledging that you are, experiencing or that you have been exposed to pain. Don't keep running. Don't keep running from what you are running from. You have to address it at some point. And my goodness, guys, if you are somebody who's running from the church because you have been hurt, it is the church that is missing out. God did not design you the way that you are for the church to miss out on that. God did not give you the gifts, the abilities, the skills, the notion, the drive, the passions that you possess that nobody else does. God didn't just give you those things for no reason. He wants to use them for his bride, for his church. There is a challenge in that. If you're sitting at home this morning and going, yeah, can't do church yet. I'm too hurt. Can't do it. But I'll listen to the radio. I'll listen to this. My encouragement to you guys is Remember your design. God did not make mistakes when he made you. The church is waiting for you to walk back in those doors. The church is waiting for you to get up and say, my God is not the people that cause me the harm. My God is the one that I serve, and I will go back to his people. I will get behind whatever is moving and stirring in this place. And I will support it in whatever way I can, because the hurts that I experience are just hurts, and God is my healer. This is the mentality we have to take on when we have been hurt by the church. We've got to stop shutting those doors and start opening them. Now, I will say that because I've been there myself. For me to be sitting here this morning, when I look back at my life, I think, I don't know how you did it, God, because I went through 7 years of refusing to walk into a church door because I thought, nah, not going to deal with that. Too much hypocrisy, not interested. So I get it. I understand the mentality of where you guys might be if you're experiencing church hurt. Some of the other things that they have highlighted here in this Google search are setting boundaries. So being careful with what you do, but I would encourage you again. We put up, in our world, we put up all these boundaries and we don't give other people a go, to the point where we are just isolated. We isolate ourselves more and more and more. Yes, set boundaries, be cautious, but also be prepared to let those boundaries go. Be prepared to take a risk again. Be prepared to acknowledge that God's ways are not the same ways as the Google search will tell me. We have to find that healthy balance when we are somebody who, we have a faith, a Christian faith. I would encourage you to find a safe community. Keep trying to find a church that you fit in. Now, I will admit the last couple of months we've been waiting it out before my husband starts his new role up in the Hunter Valley. And we have been to different churches, and I've had weeks where I've gone, nah, I'm not going to church today. Can't be bothered. That's the truth. I just need a rest. So I get it. There are weeks where you just think, nah, can't be bothered. But it is really important to find a safe community, guys. People who you belong to and they belong to you. And not in an unhealthy way. You need to find a place that you feel like you can be yourself and be accepted, be loved, and be encouraged to see Jesus more and more. I would encourage you also to get counselling as you are ready. I'm a counsellor myself. I understand that there is a journey in that, and you have to be ready to be able to explore that with your counsellor. The stuff that you're ready to, that you've been holding on to, the hurts, all that stuff. I understand it can be really, really hard. But I would encourage you to step into a professional realm and just work out how you can explore this with somebody who's going to hear you and hear you well. And also, ultimately, just keep going back to God. We want to start breaking those barriers, guys. We want to start breaking the chains that hold you guys from the church, that hold the church from flourishing. You know what? It starts with the hurts that we experience. We've got to go there. We've got to deal with them. We've got to explore them well. And I encourage you, be brave. You are God's kid. If you made a commitment to God, you are his kid. You are his. What does he want you to do? He wants you to love the people in your life. In fact, Jesus told us straight up, love your neighbor as yourself. What does that mean? It means addressing the stuff that hurts and pushing through that and saying, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to start loving again as best as I can. Does that mean that you won't ever be hurt again? No, not necessarily. You could be. There's never 100% guarantee that you're just going to have a smooth ride. But God strengthens, God rebuilds, He knows what He does to work all things for His good. And that's the ultimate truth. Hold on to Him, because even the stuff that has hurt you in the past, it's got some power to it. I'm going to leave it there this Sunday, guys. We're going to explore more church hurt in the weeks coming. I want to just encourage you guys to step out and be brave. It's a time to find revival. It's time to find a sense of renewness. It's time to start again. And we're going to do that. We're going to do it together. We're going to do it well. And I encourage you. We want to hear your stories, guys. If there's stuff in your life that you want to share with us here at Rhema CC, we want to hear your stories. What's happening on, on the inside for you? What's going on for you? We want to hear how God is moving and stirring you to give life a go again, whether that's in the church or in the world. Share with us how good God is, and share with us how church hurt might have been something that has held you back, but we want to hear it. Where are you at? Where's God at the moment, and what's he encouraging you to do? We'd love to hear your stories. Email us, contact us via rhema.cc, any of that stuff. We just want to hear from you guys how good God is, because he is. He's a great God, and he overcomes church hurt when we give him the chance. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Looking forward to it. Heavy stuff, yes, but encouraging stuff. He's a good God, guys, and I encourage you to spend some time with him this week. See you then. Bye, guys.